Hi, uh, I am Arvie Allister. This is the Inner Monologue. I am an author. I write the Blue Light series. I will eventually stop ending every statement with a question mark. And today I am going to talk about what I hope readers get out of the Blue Light series. Sorry, I seen a spider in my curtain again. Anyways, so I had this little series. It's called Blue Lights. There's some books, you know. It's about these two boys, you know. They do things. Yeah. But it's about these two boys, and you are moving with them through life and seeing how they like grow, change, and develop. Like, they go through a lot of different things. I talk about it more in other books, but I don't, in other videos, but I don't think I need to like go that much into detail on like what blue lights and black lights is about in this video, because the big thing is like the takeaways that you get from the book despite the plot, you know? Um, so the things that I want readers to take away from this series as a whole is that suffering does not equal growth. That's the first thing. Suffering does not equal growth. There are, between blue lights and black lights, there's different demonstrations of suffering. Some non self inflicted, some self inflicted. There are these patterns of like being weary of asking for help and being this like pitch of masculinity where it's like you're trying to handle a lot of these things on your own. And it's not even all masculinity all the time that's doing it, but a matter of not trying to be a burden to others. So you want to be able to handle these issues on your own so that way you're not burdening other people with your problems. And just because you're hurting, it doesn't mean that you're growing, you know? Like, a lot of the times, you don't actually get the chance to grow until you feel safe. What you think, like those growing pains that you think are growing pains, could actually just be you stuck in stillness. And until you get through this pain, you're not really going to be able to become the person that you want to be or that you need to be. In blue lights, the person suffering is Major, and he is dealing with a neglectful mother and an abusive stepfather, and he does not speak on the matter. He does not outright ask for help. He gets it, he accepts it, but it's not something that he outright says that he needs. And in the book that I'm currently working on the third book, you still see shadows of that idea that all of his suffering came for a reason, like that he grew from it, that he got something out of it. One of the things that he like tries to tie to it is his relationship that he has with his boyfriend Dante, thinking that like, oh, if he didn't like live where he was, didn't go through what he went through, then he probably never would have been as close with Dante as he is, leading to their romantic relationship. But Dante like shuts that idea down with the with the matter of trying to make sure Major doesn't believe that like Dante's love was a prize for his suffering, because with that belief comes rationale for what happened, and what happened is something that never should have happened, and it doesn't need to be tied to love or strength or anything of that matter. The suffering did not does not equal the growth. Um, Leading into the next thing, I told you that the suffering happened in book one, and I just told you that in book three, he's still making these connections to it, because my point two that I wish readers would take away from the Blue Light series is that healing is not linear. Like, you're not just going to, spoiler alert, you're not just going to kill your stepdad one day and then be cool, calm, and collect for the rest of your life. No. There's, I mean, I could just talk about what I'm writing right now. So, like, Major and his mother, there is a lot of back and forth when it comes to his relationship, his feelings with his mother, who has neglected him, has always chosen her husband or another man over him. And we are in the first book, she emancipates him. He goes and lives with Dante's family, and pretty much for almost a year has nothing to do with Major, until Major's biological father comes back into the picture, and she gets pulled back in because of a man. But before she gets pulled back in, there's this opportunity that Major has to like talk with her. And they do get the chance to talk. And there's this moment where it's just like, you don't think that there can ever be like love between them. Not a real kind of love, but maybe a matter of peace, you know? Before that all like backtracks because Major's mother only thinks about herself. But now we're in the third book. And Major, who has been raised more with the Knoxes than by his own mother and stepfather, he has a heart. And that heart of his doesn't really allow for him to cut off all feelings for his mother, you know? So, come the third book, he is still thinking about her, and she is now homeless. And there are still parts of him that wants to help, parts of him that does help, but also parts of him that realizes that she has never and will never choose him. And he's already sacrificed so much when it came to choosing her. So he has to make the choice of whether he wants to continue to allow this disappointment into his life by keeping her involved in his life, or if he's going to let her go and choose himself. Again, this is a thing that like it starts in book one, but these pieces of it still linger, because at no point did that book ever close really between him and his mother. There was never a like full on "you're out of my life, I never want to see you again" type of situation between them. So there's always was that small opening, like she was always there. And now that she's no longer lives on their block, now that she's not there, it is Major's choice now of like how involved he wants her to be in his life. And there's the matter of like that healing. It's not linear. He's so much better now that he's been away, that he lives in a house full of love and support and resources and things of that nature. But there's still these like moments where he gets stuck in what was. The next thing that I want people to take away from this book is that family is not always blood. This one should be pretty simple. Kind of write found I kind of write found family a lot. I will say that clean one of these times. I sort of write found family a lot. And Blue Lights is a great example of found family. That also like that found family continues to grow into Black Lights and grow into Spotlights, the third book. And it shows what it looks like to find your people and to choose them and to have people who choose you. And also, like starting with Black Lights and going into the third book, Spotlights, it also demonstrates what it takes to earn that spot as family. There's in Black Lights, Major finds out about his biological father and he meets his two siblings, an older brother named March and a sister who's literally days younger than him named Cadence, meaning that his father got both his mother and his wife, who is Cadence's mother, knocked up at the same time. What a great man. Anywho, but he meets his siblings. And although Dante and Cadence pretty much hit it off, and I'm not going to say right away, but they hit it off. They're great friends. March, on the other hand, that takes time. That takes a lot of time. And it gets to a point where Dante will openly call Major sister Cadence his sister. But there are so many things that need to happen before he can accept March as a brother. Because of the ways that March went against him, things that March said about him, and March choosing his father's plans, even though he knows that his father's plans are wrong, over Major and his relationship with Major and pretty much what is best for Major. Their biological father is talking about all these things that is best for Major and that he wants Major to do, but he doesn't know Major. He hasn't been around him since he was 5 years old, and March had just met him that summer. So in this situation, they don't know best. But it does get to a point where March earns the trust of Dante. And that piece of the found family gets extended out. Next thing that I wish for people to take away from Blue Light series is that your feelings matter and they should be heard by the people who love you. I'm going to repeat that last part. They should be heard by the people who love you. I'm sorry. But no one has to. Like you shouting at random people on the internet because you're experiencing big feelings. The random people on the internet don't have to listen to you necessarily. It's free country. But the people who love you, they should. And they probably want to. So open up, talk, share with them. They are probably, and if you're like the strong one, the one who never has any problems, this is Dante. Dante in the second book experiences a lot of this internal conflict where he is experiencing these feelings and that is just kind of boiling over, but he never really talks about it because he's constantly thinking that other people around him are dealing with worse. He is in love with a boy who has been through hell and is still clawing his way out, and he's like, these little inconveniences in life for me are not worth bringing up to him because why would I bring him any more problems? While Major, on the other hand, is thinking how it's kind of lonely to be the only one who needs help and says to him, I'm here for you just as much as you're here for me, but you have to let me be here. And he tells him that I don't care if you want to sit around complaining about your shoelace coming untied. I want to know. If you have a problem, I want to know about it. So, share out. Don't hold things in. Don't think that you're being strong. Remember, suffering does not equal growth. Another thing that I want people to take away from Blue Lights, and this is a big thing for, well, the Blue Light series, but this is a big thing for like all of my writing, pretty much, just about all of my writing. The matter of who you are is not the problem. I've read so many stories where someone's skin, or someone's sexuality, or someone's gender is the conflict of the story. And I, as a reader, I've grown tired of being told that I am the problem. So, when it comes to Blue Lights, the conflict is not the boys being gay. The conflict is not the boys being black. The conflict is not the boys being boys. The conflict is always something outside of those realms. Those realms are not ignored, but they're not the problem because they shouldn't be a problem. Is this the last one? I wrote myself down here. Yes, this is the last thing. Last thing that I want to that I want readers to take away from the Blue Light series is that love changes because people change. There's a reason why like books about young love, like people who get together as teenagers, usually stop pretty soon after they get together. You may get like a year or two afterwards, but the reason for that is if you are telling a story with complex, compelling characters, the characters are going to change. The person that that the characters fell in love with in book 1 is not going to be the same person in book 4. And that's okay. Just because someone is growing, just because they're changing, it does not mean that the love can't grow with them. Dante and Major already have gone through like so many changes to the point where they feel like the person that they got now that they're dating is not the same person that they were friends with. But that's fine because each time they're choosing to love each other and the new parts of them. There was just actually a scene that I wrote not too long ago where Dante was talking about like these layers of Major that slowly get uncovered, and saying like, right when I thought that I couldn't love him anymore, there came a new part of him for me to learn how to love all over again. And it's just that matter of, I don't want to say choosing each other every time, but the question of, will we choose each other every time? Because the growth is inevitable. They have to grow. They have to change. They met when they were like 5, but they got together when they were 16. I'm taking the series all the way through their first year of college. They're going to change. And it's just a matter of learning, constantly learning the person that you are with, and choosing to love. I think the boys also have this level of like respect for one another that they would probably be fearful of becoming someone that the other wouldn't approve of. They've kind of always measured their lives against one another, and pretty much like, if I'm turning into someone that my partner doesn't like, then I'm probably turning into someone that I wouldn't like either. So there's that evaluation as well, because of how much they trust each other's judgment. But love changes. It's not about constantly staying the same or always trying to stay the same. It's about growing and changing and choosing to love anyway. And it's okay for you to be somebody different. And it's okay for the people you love to change into somebody different too. It's selfish to expect someone to always stay the same. Just don't be afraid to grow. And it'll be easier to accept the growth of others, or easier to see the lack of growth in others. But yeah, these are some takeaways that I wish for people to get when it comes to the Blue Light series. And I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow I shall talk about what I am proud of as an author. Wait, I don't do that enough. Talk about pride and things of that nature. But let's get into it tomorrow. For now, this is the inner monologue. I am RV Allister. I am an author. And if you do ever decide to read Blue Lights and the other material, if you so choose to continue, I want you to know that if you close the book and you remember the characters' names, that's great. I really appreciate that. But if you close the book and you get this feeling of you deserving love, you accepting change, and you feeling free enough to be who you are and feel what you feel, then my purpose of writing is being fulfilled. Or if you're just entertained, that's great too. But I'll catch you tomorrow on the inner monologue. Peace out. A-Town down.